Hello friends, welcome to another Bluebird Art Studios video. My name is Miss Emma and today we're going to be doing a watercolor reindeer painting. So for this artwork we're going to need watercolors, water, sponge, and a test paper, along with our brushes, a Sharpie, and our pencil. We're going to start with the pencil and begin the outline of our reindeer. Painting is going to be mainly of the reindeer's head, so we're going to begin with the circle for the head. We want to make it pretty large. Whenever we do the circle, it's not going to be a perfect circle. I'm drawing very lightly with my pencil as I do this, just so I can go back and erase any lines I don't need later, like right here. So the nose is going to be right here. So let's go ahead and draw the circle for the nose. After this, we're going to make an ear at the opposite side of the head. It's going to be a little bit pointy. So we're going to circle up with a curved line. And then circle back down to the head. After this, we're going to make two antlers right here. We'll go up for the first. Circle that around and bring it back down, just like little horns. Go. The second one's going to be a little bit smaller and a little bit shorter. Just like that. Now the last part of this step is to make a big eye right here. We're going to have it kind of rounded and then almost like a raindrop on its side, so it's going to point right here. There we go. Okay, after this, we're going to add the inside of the ear, just making another line, another pair of these lines a little bit smaller on the inside. And then we're going to add the pupil or iris of the eye. Now we have to give our reindeer a mouth, so we're going to go ahead and make sort of a circular shape right here. Now moving on to the neck, you want to do two lines going down. The first one's going to be a little bit closer to the base of the head. We're going to start right about here and curve this line down. Give it a long neck. Now on the other side, you're going to start your line right over from where the mouth is, just about right here, and curve it in the opposite direction. Now we're going to add just a few details. I'm going to make a highlight on the nose. And then we're going to do a highlight for the eye. Lastly, we're going to do a line down the neck. This will separate the darker from the lighter colors and make it look a little bit more fluffy. I'm going to go down, but then to stimulate the fur, I'm going to go back up and back up. Just like that. Almost like wave shapes. What we can go ahead and do is erase any lines that aren't going to be in the final version of the drawing. For our next step, we're going to go ahead and take our Sharpie and start outlining all of the lines that we've just made. As always, whenever we're outlining with our Sharpie, make sure that you go as slow and steady as you can to make sure that our lines are crisp and clear. Even though I drew the highlight on the nose with my pencil, I'm not going to outline that with my Sharpie, just because we want to make that shading visible through our watercolors. Lastly, I'm going to color in this circle on the eye, making sure that I leave the highlight bit white. Take our eraser from our pencil and erase any lines that we see peeking out from outside the Sharpie. We always recommend that you set up your watercolors just like this. And so we have our paints on this side and our mixing palette right here. And then you can have a test piece of paper so you can make sure that the colors are exactly what you want before we bring them to the painting itself. For this, I'm going to start with my medium rounded brush. We're going to begin doing the fur on the face itself, which is going to be a brown color. Go ahead and dip your brush in the water, and then tap it on your sponge a few times. We call this method the water, sponge, sponge method. This ensures that you have enough water on your brush without it being too dripping or too dry to continue on to your paints. Water, sponge, sponge. After we have our color mixed, we can go ahead and bring it to our canvas. Need to blend colors like this together. What you can do is wash off your brush, dab it on the sponge until it's a little bit damp, and then use that brush without any color on it to blend between the two. When we finish with the basic shading, I'm going to go back in with a little bit of a darker brown, maybe adding some red in. And I'm going to create a more defined line right here to darken this area. Now that we're finished with the ear, we can go ahead and move on to the neck. Now we'll bring it to the lower left of each of the antlers and shade upwards. Alright, now we're going to move on to the nose. For this one, I'm going to trade out for my small flat brush just because we want to make sure that we get the details here. Today I decided that I want to do Rudolph, so we're going to get a bright red. Before I do this, I'm going to use my sponge and clean off my palette to make sure that none of these colors mix together with my red. I'll test it out on the palette and then bring it to Rudolph's nose. During this part, you do want to remember that we did draw a highlight right at the tip of the nose. Make sure not to go over that with your color. I'm going to switch to this smaller detailed brush. Lastly, we have got to give our reindeer a background. So the first thing that we're going to do for this is get some new water and make sure that we clean off our mixing palette. Again, just do this by using your sponge and swiping it straight down. I decided to make my background a blue color so that you can see reindeer against the night sky. This isn't quite the level of blue that I'd like, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of purple and see where we are from there. Try this one out. Okay, now that I've made a larger amount of it, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring in the background. If you've enjoyed our tutorial today, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel to see more Bluebird Art Studio videos. Until next time, happy painting and happy holidays!